Andrew, what you got?
Coach, we talk about grit with this team a lot, but I would imagine that grit was at about the highest point this season for your guys today to get that win.
Well, I mean, one of the things that, we talk a lot about is living in the trenches, and I tell them in the trenches, that's where the rebounds, the loose balls, the talking on defense, the box outs, coming to the ball when teams are pressing, taking care of the basketball, making open shots, executing on the offensive end, just the little things that mean so many big things, especially down the stretch. And so that's something from the start that we have talked about with this group, with this team. It's, we've been in those situations, a lot this year, and we practice those situations as well. So there's, irregardless if it comes out in a win or a loss, we feel prepared and confident in those situations to be able to do what we need to do in order to get a victory.
Do you think this team has gotten to the point where they enjoy playing in the trenches like that?
I think they're getting there, but I would say even more, I think every day they're learning more and more. That's where the success comes from.
Hubert, along with this, I'm so sorry.
Go ahead. No, it is. And the reason why I would say that is when I mention it to them, they're nodding their head. They're like, yes, coach. I think they're really understanding the importance individually and as a team, how important it is to live in the trenches.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Along those same lines, what do you think it is about maybe the makeup of this group, these guys in particular, that when you've had these deficits on the road and, another building's pretty loud and cranked up, that, you haven't really panicked and you've been able to not only sort of weather those storms, but respond and win these games?
Well, we don't panic. There's a calmness and a confidence about this group that's always been there. It was pretty evident in the first half. We had 12 turnovers, and they had 19 points off of 12 turnovers. So, going into halftime saying we need to take care of the basketball, that would fix a lot. Florida State shot 50% from the field in the first half. We got to play better defense than that. That's what has allowed us to have success all year, specifically the last 10 games. And so those things needed to change. And then, we took care of the basketball. We got to the free throw line, and, but this is a very tough, but in those situations, they're calm and confident to be able to get the job done.
I think this is the first time this season that Elliott's had back-to-back double-digit games. What have you seen from him in the last couple of weeks? Is that just settling into his role?
Well, his role is to be a basketball player. So, today, his ability to break down the defense and be able to score and be able to distribute was huge for us. The way that Florida State plays defensively, their length, their athleticism, you have to have guys that can create shots. And Elliott is one of those guys, but we have a number of them on the team. Obviously RJ, Harrison, Cormac, Seth. So having multiple playmakers out there on the floor is huge for us.
Did the last 6 minutes of the first half when Elliott was on the bench show how important he is for your offense? Because that's when they rally there.
Well, he's an important part for us, a part of our team by the way that he can distribute, way that he can create. As I said before, I always like a number of ball handlers out there on the floor, especially against teams like Florida State where they force you to so many one-on-one situations. You need as many playmakers out there as well. So, as I said before, we have a number of them. It's RJ, Seth, Harrison, Cormac, Pax, Elliott. We've got a number of them.
Hubert, you did mention the 12 first half turnovers. I know at times it was even difficult kind of getting the ball and things like that. What do you think Florida State was kind of doing in those situations, particularly in the first half, kind of, making it harder to, I guess, kind of distribute?
No, the thing that we talked about before the game is I said don't let their pressure dictate and decide how we play and how effective we are on the offensive end. And I felt like their pressure dictated and decided how we executed. I felt like we didn't make the easy play. I felt like they sped us up. So whether our drives, our cuts, or whatever were just too fast, and as a result, we were turning the ball over. And so, at halftime, we just said we just got to slow down, settle, get into our sets, execute, and just run. I mean, we want to play with pace, but there's a purpose in the pace, and I felt like we got back to that in the second half.
Going back to the trenches, is Harrison the personification of that? 17 more boards today.
He is, he is, and 17 boards, but nothing greater than that block towards the end that sealed the victory. I really believe the 2 threes starting off the game helped us. It loosened things up, and then that allowed Elliot and RJ to be able to drive and get to the basket. He's huge because so much attention is on Armando. They're double teaming. If he's posting up, they got a guy on the backside, so it's real difficult to get the ball into Armando, and other guys have to step up. But Harrison just checks so many boxes. I mean, it's just shooting, posting up, passing, rebounding, big plays. He's just really having a lot of fun out there.
Coach, were you expecting to be this successful on the offensive boards today?
Well, it's something that we stress every day. I mean, that's a huge part for us. Those guys' job and requirement to 3, 4, and 5 is to go to the offensive glass every time. And if you're not going to, then I've got somebody on the bench that can go. So that is their job and requirement. So that's a huge part for us in terms of our offense, getting extra shots, extra opportunities to be able to score and to come away with 16 offensive rebounds. That's huge for us.
Take a couple more. Hubert, I think you missed 6 of your last 7 shots to finish the game.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But the one that went in was the RJ
Yeah.
little move in the lane, and I mean, obviously he's having a spectacular season, but the timeliness of some of these moments where he's able to take over in some of these games. I mean, what do you think that says about who he has become as a player? These moments that he delivers in.
Well, I mean, I haven't seen every college game, but I would say there's nobody playing better than him in the country. Just in terms of his play, his leadership. It's especially in late game, all the time, late game situations, you put the ball in his hand, and previously, other teams have double teamed him. So, try to get the ball in his hands, let's bring him off, let somebody else create and get it to him, and then just give it back to him. Right. And his ability to be able to create and be able to make that shot, whether he made it or missed. Having the ball in his hands is exactly where I feel comfortable as a coach on the sideline.
And just to follow up on that real quick, do you think that poise that sort of drips off of him, it carries over to the rest of these guys?
I do. I really do. RJ's experienced a lot, and his demeanor is very calming and confident. Having him out there on the floor, I feel that, the players feel that. But I also think there's a confidence every day building with this team of being in these situations and being successful. And so one of the things that we really want to do is just to continue to build trust. And I think we're every day trusting each other more and more out there on the floor and holding each other accountable, and it's just fun to watch.
Anybody else?
Ellie
Okay,
Cadeau and
last
Harrison-
one. Go ahead, last one.
Ellie Cadeau and Harrison Ingram both had double-digit points, and Harrison Ingram had double-double today. How important is it seeing these underclassmen get more involved with the rotation and become quality impacts in the team?
Yeah, I think it's important for everybody. We played 10 guys, and the impact. I thought Zayden played really well. The minutes that he played. Pax gave us an offensive rebound put back in the first half when we were struggling offensively. He gave us great minutes coming off the bench. Seth and Jay Witt and Jay Wash. And so, I think it's important for everybody to feel important and to make an impact. And I can point to every guy that played today, even the guys that didn't play in our preparation for Florida State, that played a huge part in us coming away with the win today.
Thanks, Coach. Again, our players will be available outside.